In our new world, making sure everyone has access is everyone's choice. The exclusion of disabled people is something that occurs in your world, but not in the future. Every day of the past 15 years of this disability, living in a world where service animals have unlimited access to community spaces, are welcome in public and private places alike, where there is running water available for animals to drink from at their leisure. This has been the greatest gift of my life. Every day of the past 6 years with my service animal is better than any other day before the world started to end. I love that in our new world, I don't owe anyone a performance. I don't need to perform my disability to be seen as worthy, to be respected, to go to a doctor's office. Obeying the American Disabilities Act law is the bare minimum, where a service animal cannot be denied access to a space where any other member of the public is allowed to go. I would say that the year 2045 is the continuing of the American Civil Rights Movement, where disability justice is not just law, it's practice. It's praxis. Service animals are everywhere. And I think the way service animals are treated now could be considered the same way that maybe if a personal care attendant were an au pair, right? So it's mutually beneficial. When an au pair moves to the United States from France or any other country, they are given room and board, a stipend, a cell phone, free time in exchange for watching children 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, or less than 8 hours a day, 5 days per week. And a personal care attendant is someone who visits a disabled person in their home or in the hospital for 30 minutes up to 12 hours a day for care. But this is a very expensive role, and personal care attendants are underpaid. But if a personal care attendant had all the benefits of an au pair, that is what a service animal's life is like. They get love and care and support, and in return, they provide love and care and support. I think having a service animal before the end of the world began was really difficult. Neurodiversity wasn't seen as an essential form of human diversity. So if someone had a service animal, they had to really work hard to prove that they deserved them if they had an invisible, non-salient disability. So due to my dysautonomia, I can faint and hit my head when I'm having fun dancing or out hiking. But with my service dog, he is always there to tell me when things are unsafe. He helps me sit down. He helps me pause. He helps me lower myself to the ground safely before I have blacked out. And often reducing episodes where I fully black out, because with dysautonomia, changing your body position can help reduce symptom severity. So going from bending over to standing too quickly, or walking and it gets hot. The dog knows what's going to happen before I do inside my body. I don't tell them, I don't give them a signal. If I experience an exacerbation of symptoms without the dog, it takes me more than 15 minutes, sometimes hours, to integrate that information into my decision-making parts of my brain. And by then it's too late. I've gotten hurt or I've burnt out in a public place. But with my service animal, they know long before I know. As soon as my physiology starts to change and act abnormally, the dog lets me know. They nudge me with their nose. And if I ignore the nudge with the nose, they lean on me with their hip. And when I ignore them leaning on my hip because I'm stubborn, they put their paw on me. And if I ignore them putting their paw on me because I am Miss Independent, they bark. The dog speaks. They bark for my attention or for another person. And what's so beautiful is in this new world, other people know what my dog is saying. And they come and they help. They don't shush us. They don't send us out of the room. They don't try to hide us or keep us out of the public eye. We are part of the community. And it's incredible. And I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And you would think that when you're coming to a world in crisis, that you would want to live anywhere but there. But this world has been resilient in light of crisis. And that's our word, resilience. I skipped my word. It's resilience. And I haven't written about it. Resilience. Acceptance. Consistency. So, in 2045, we understand that all body minds deserve dignity and respect. In our new service animal reliant world, the service animal and humans are seen as interdependent. The human relies on the animal for sensory integration and nervous system regulation, and the animal navigates public spaces. And while they do that, they communicate with their human, giving the human access to a larger field of vision or sensory input. I know how to pace myself walking on a complicated hiking trail based on the slightest difference in movement in my dog's leash in my hand. And he changes his pace for me. I think the most important thing that this world needs to know so that we can have our future world is that service animals are worthy and valid, that humans who have service animals are worthy and valid. Valid. We are valid. We don't need to be validated, but we are valid. We belong. There's a parable, an old parable, when a man was giving a lesson about the creator of the world to masses of crowds, and the man giving the lesson was in an inaccessible space. It was as able-bodied as someone could imagine. But this man, he was a healer, not just a teacher. He healed people. Four men arrived to this gathering carrying a paralyzed man on a mat, and they couldn't bring him to the healer because of the crowd. So the men climbed onto a roof above the healer's head and dug a hole through the roof. They lowered the man onto a mat right in front of the healer. This is disability justice, and this story is a tale as old as time. The gathering was inaccessible, so this man's friends made a way for him to meet the teacher. They made a way into gathering so their friend could be included. They dug a hole in the roof so their disabled friend would have access. And you know what this healer said? You know what this speaker said, this teacher? He loved it. And he called the man's son. Intimate. Beautiful. And he said, "Son, you are forgiven. You are loved. You are worthy." He didn't say, "Your legs are fixed, get out of here and walk. Now fix the roof, you disturbed my event." He said, "You're worthy. You're forgiven for everything you know and all you do not know that you have done. You are welcome here as you are." And that is what our new world will look like. You guys don't know, but you are welcome. You are all welcome in 2045. You are welcome. There's room for you, just as you are, exactly the way that you are. Disability justice is not new. The story I gave you is from 200 AD. How are you opening doors and breaking down barriers today? How are you making room for everyone in your gathering spaces today so that we can all be together tomorrow? All bodies deserve access to all community spaces. Don't use your religion, plans, or bias to excuse exclusion. The men in the story clawed their way through the roof to be a good friend to their disabled friend. They clawed their way through the roof. All are welcome. There is room for everybody at every table, in every space in our new world. No matter how you get around. With a service animal in a wheelchair, on prosthetic legs, with a ventilator, with an oxygen tank, on a recumbent bicycle. There's room for you. You have a place. You have a place in our new world. And you are thriving because no matter who you were, you are worthy and there is room for you. We enjoy the warmth because we have been cold. No, I'm not going there. I don't know if that's true. But I do know that I'm going to live my life so that if it were a book, it'd be banned in Florida. And resistance is futile. because our future world is for everyone. Everyone. Mm. Our animals are perfect. They know the song in our heart. And I think I'm really struggling to put into words because it's so personal for me. Because if we're going to be real, I'm not from the future. I'm from the year 2023, where being excluded from a wedding or a private party is customary when you have a service animal, where the thing that keeps you alive, the animal who would give their life for you, who allows you to engage in social outings safely without danger of being hurt, can also be the reason people use to exclude you. And that's really hard. It's really hard knowing that I don't know if what I have to give is going to be enough. That I would give my dog, God, I would give him anything. I would give him anything because he gives me everything. He is how I made it to my best friend's wedding. He was my doula. He helped me bring my son into this world. And he kept me safe when my son was in the NICU. There is no love or bond like ours. So, tips. Assistance dog etiquette. When you see a person with an assistance dog, it is important to remember to speak to the person first. The dog is working and needs to maintain its attention on the handler. Assistance dogs are sentient medical equipment. You don't approach someone in a wheelchair and jump in their lap and ask for a ride. In the same manner, we don't speak or reach out to assistance dogs. We ask the handler if it's okay. It's probably better to not ask at all. This is important to remember. Service animals are beautiful. We don't want to baby talk or infantilize them. We can't touch them. If the service animal speaks, they're alerting their handler. Do not reward a service dog for being distracted by petting them when you are not their handler. So, my son and I were hit by a car while riding our bike from the bus stop to the bike path in 2023. So in 2045, there will be no overlap where cars and pedestrians and cars and wheelchair users and cars and bicycle users intersect. Cars are not primary. A car's time is not worth more than my life.